Welcome back to some more Create Integrated. Now, last episode, I set out to make a, makeshift XP farm, but I think I'm going to have to scale up quite a lot because I was kind of crunching the numbers. And I've realized that, while this amount of XP is great, whenever we do consume an entire stack, at the end of the day, it's not that much XP. It just looks like a big number. And to do the things that I want to do with this XP, we are going to need more than what we're currently generating, or at least be able to generate it faster. Now, my real goal for today is to duplicate enchants. That's really what I want to be able to do. I want to set out to be able to not only duplicate, but also potentially strip off enchants. That way I can make books. These are all things that we should be able to do with Create Enchantment Industries, and is going to allow me to get my gear more up to par. Yes, by actually getting the enchants that I want on my actual gear. Before we can start, liquefying all of this XP, I've got to up my game. We've got to up our flint game, and I'm thinking what we could do is add a little upstairs area that could lead back into this barrel that can do some more processing of some cobblestone. So we can just have, I don't know, like a processor that's processing cobblestone into gravel and then converting the gravel directly into flint. And that is very doable with the mill. So after a little bit of theorizing and figuring out like what would be the best solution to this, cobblestone generator right about here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slap on some crushing wheels. This is going to crush that cobblestone. I want to make sure to protect myself, so I will throw this on top. But what's going to happen now is I need mills. So I have this belt running here and this belt also running parallel with this. But this is going to be where the overflow is going to go to. And I think 4 mills might be able to get this job done. I'm going to have to kind of see. But 4 mills that run right here. And each of these are going to have funnels on them, andesite funnels, to collect the gravel that the crushing wheel is going to be producing. But on the outside, this is where I'm going to have to shoot out what it produces. I could use andesite funnels. Actually, it doesn't really matter. Andesite funnels will be enough. But we'll put the andesite funnels on this side, like that. Making sure this one goes here. We just have to get power to this one area right here. So I'm thinking we can do a gearbox or maybe even a chain drive. Actually, you know what? This is perfect. We just turn this and we just use a shaft and carry that shaft signal all the way up and then carry it over with some cogs. So we'll have our cogs like this. Now all of the mills are running and the goal is just to make a bunch of flint. That is the main goal right here. And since these are probably going to be sending only one item out at a time, to make this drop work, I'm going to use a funnel to drop it off the belt onto this belt line. And then we'll use another funnel to send that product into here. Now, just in case things do back up, I don't think they will, but just in case they do, I do want to make sure to use like a trap door, anything that's solid. So when a trap door is collapsed and closed on the back side of a belt, it'll prevent items from overflowing. Same on this side. We want to make sure that is there too. And then we want to change these. Make sure these are all accepting in. And I think we're ready to turn this on. And to turn it all on, all I have to do is give this a cobblestone or give this a funnel. Let's see. We'll do a brass funnel for this because we want it to send as much as possible. And so that's going to be creating the gravel. The gravel should end up in the mill. And we start to see flint flowing out. I think, though, what would make this work better, because we are going to end up with a backing up issue, is, yeah, probably using brass on here and setting it so it only sends out when there's like 32, for example, and then also making sure this is a brass funnel. So now I set all of these to exactly 16, and these will only send out when there's exactly 16 flint. And there it goes. It should have just sent some, and then this is set to 64, so having these set to 16 equals up to 64, so it should be one big bunch, and that should be able to support that no problem. And I think this setup is fine for now, but man, we probably even want to scale up past this, because this still isn't super duper fast. I mean, it has definitely increased the rate by quite a bit, But yeah, this could definitely be better. And I'm sure once we have more infrastructure set up, we're going to have a lot more flint that we're probably going to want to send elsewhere if we're not using it to make other blocks. And so, yeah, we'll definitely have this sped up. I mean, as of right now, though, it is going pretty quick. And I think we now have just about enough that we can probably start converting this into some liquid XP. Now, connected to my building here, I want to make a tank, and this is what's going to store our XP. Like 256 buckets, that seems quite fair. And this is like the perfect size for this. Because believe me, it's going to be really hard for us to fill this thing anyways. Because to put it in perspective, and I think this will make a whole lot more sense once you hear this number, to equal 1 bucket of XP fluid, one actual full-on bucket, which is 1,000 millibuckets, it equates to 333 of these nuggets. So you can tell that, well, that number starts to become really, really large when you start to look at this number, 256 individual buckets. I mean, that's a lot. To fill that tank, I would need 85,000 of those nuggies. Which, I mean, we will get to before long, but yeah, as of right now, this is probably going to be just fine. Now, a way that we can actually transform these is by putting it through grinding, or a grindstone, a specialty grindstone here. So how do we make this? Well, we need to take a regular item drain and we click it with a mechanical grindstone, and then we place another grindstone on top of that, and then we get this, which is very odd and is very, very difficult to handle because we are going to need a pump in some capacity that is connected, and then on this side we are also going to need some sort of rotational force, or possibly we only need rotation on one side and then it'll actually rotate the bottom. So that could be something that we also do, and actually having a pump back here could work out just perfect. I mean, so long as we have a cog. This is where like this stuff becomes really satisfying. This cog will connect in, also connect to the top, and so that means this could power itself that way. We just need to send the item through here, and then we need to, of course, have some way to pipe this out. I'm thinking something like this, connected in. Is that going to work? Okay, so it doesn't actually power the bottom here. You know what? That's never stopped me. So let's try this out. Let's go ahead and put a cog down here. We'll run a shaft, and then we can do like another double cogwheel. So now these are spinning correctly, I do believe. A way that we can test is if we throw this in here, does it get grinded up? And it did get grinded up. And look at that, we have 3 XP in here. So perfect. So we know that this is now functioning. I don't think the direction actually matters. I tried sending it this direction. It seems to work. And also sending it this direction seems to work. And I think using an item drain here is going to be one of our best options. So I'll just put the XP in the barrel. This sends it out, does the whole grinding thing, turns it all into liquid, and ends up in here. Oh, that's a cheap little outside area. Now with all of this set up, we should be able to get to the fun part. Okay, so the enchantment industries is what we're looking at, and I want to start duplicating enchanted books. To do this, we can utilize the printer. This is a really, really amazing item here. Okay, so what does this allow us to do? It allows us to duplicate enchanted books. So if we have an enchanted book, for example, like Smite, I can place it inside this filter slot, and then I look at this, and it should tell me, once I have XP in here anyways, how much this is going to cost for me to duplicate. So, by the way, let's go ahead and put the book back in, because yes, it doesn't actually consume the book. It just uses it as a placeholder. I want to go ahead and get a piping system running over to this. So I do want to go a little bit higher just for some nice aesthetics. And then I'm going to route this all the way over to this tank. We can just hook in right over here another pump. Just like that, I've got XP fluid over here, and you can now see this is going to have a printing cost of 17 millibuckets. So yes, we can duplicate this book with 17 millibuckets of this XP fluid. Now I know that number may not seem like a lot, but honestly, Smite 1, like it's a book that can go all the way up to 5. So yes, it is going to be a lot lower cost than something that maybe only has 3 enchanting levels or 2 enchanting levels. Okay, but how do we get enchanted books in the first place? Like, how are we going to get enough enchanted books? Are we going to have to sit here and do one book at a time and try not to get enchants, like basically with our basic enchantment table? I mean, yes and no. See, with Create Enchantment Industries, we can actually rip enchants off of our gear, but it does require a little bit of setup, a little bit of adventuring too, because you are going to need a smithing template, the blaze upgrade specifically, that you do find inside of Nether. I happen to find this in the fortress, and I found 3 of them actually. So it is quite easy to find, and we need to combine this inside of a smithing table to make ourselves a blaze forger. And this guy is pretty important. Now, you can just set the blaze forger down, but this guy is going to also need to be tapped into our piping network. And it will hold like quite a bit of XP, and that's kind of a problem. It does hold a lot. Like 4 buckets is, again, a lot of XP. I do recommend though having this guy like lifted up and placed also on some experience blocks, because these experience blocks can actually be upgraded whenever we do some forging activities. And some other things you're also going to want, some lightning rods. You'll understand later, but these are actually kind of important. And so what I've done here is I've tapped this into the bottom of the blaze forger. So the blaze forger is ready to go. This is going to fill up first with XP, which also holds 4 buckets. So in total, 8 buckets worth. And I've got all of these blocks of XP compressed. And oh, how that sounds so delightful to my ears. Oh boy. Now heading over here, let's take a look at just a blank piece of gear. Oh, nice. We can get mana boost on this and protection. That's fantastic. But I do want to rip these off so I have these books at my disposal for potential duplication. So how am I going to do this? Well, we're going to have to press some stuff. And yet again, we get to use this. I'm going to use my Ars press, throw down this item. Let's press that real quick with a create press. And we get ourselves an enchanting template. And so what we need to do, so long as this has some XP fluid in here, is we will click the enchanted item first and then put in the template. And this is going to strip off the top enchant off of the actual enchanted item and should put it onto this template. Or so I hope. There it goes. It did the thing. And then we can actually take this off. And now we have mana boost. And we have protection. It may not be the top thing, but it is going to be one of the things. And I definitely want to get that protection off of here. So now we have a mana boost, and we can now apply this to an enchanted book. Or we can keep it on a template. I think templates also allow you to press books or possibly make other templates. It doesn't tell me the enchanting cost though, which has me concerned. Oh, in the second go around, look at that. I got mana regen and protection 3. Not too bad, but I did want that mana regen. These are the main ones I want. I mean, we got protection, unbreaking, mending, being able to duplicate those things are definitely worthwhile too. But man, having mana boost 3 and also the mana regen 3, that's what I want and need on all of my gear. Now, I know I put the lightning rods down. I don't really think you have to worry too much about the lightning rod issue until you start dealing with hyper XP or the hyper enchanting setup. But thankfully, none of this really requires hyper XP, so long as you don't go over the base level enchants. Now, some other things I'm going to do, I'm going to rip off some of the enchants that are already on my pickaxe. Now, I already have a Fortune 3 book, so that's going to be perfect. I'm just going to take these off one by one, getting my efficiency, by the way, and just getting everything else off of here. Silk Touch is the only thing I really need off of this. So now we need to go kind of the opposite direction. After getting all of these templates, I can then use them to enchant things. So instead of placing the gear first, you place the template first, and then you place the thing you want to enchant. I believe this should, well, actually, maybe it is the book first, and then the thing we want to enchant. Okay, it is. So there we go. So I placed the thing I want to enchant, and then the predefined template, and this will combine it. You can see the forging cost 40 millibuckets, and it gave me a book. And this is perfect because this is what I need to be able to dupe more of these books. So these are kind of just getting us a set of enchanted books. So yeah, I thought it was the other way around, but we click this on here and then we click the book. No, sorry. I'm already doing it wrong again. We click the book and then the template. Is that right? I think it is. Book. And then the template. Perfect. It takes a little bit to get used to. Once you figure it out, like everything just starts flowing. All right, I definitely have it this time. Book, not 2 of them. You put 2 in, and then template. There we go. Now, some things I almost forgot to mention. You can actually, with hyper enchanting, also much like Apotheosis, if you're familiar with that, you can apply 2 different types of protections. This is something that is not normally done in vanilla, but is something that can be done. And you can also do weird things like have a mending bow that also has infinity on it. Yes, all those cursed things. But now I want to start duplicating the book. Okay, so I put this in here. That's going to cost a little bit. And the way that this printing press works is we put a book on here and it's going to use some of that XP and quite literally make a duplicate copy of that book. Now, what I want to try and do is make a duplicate master set, and then see how expensive is a master set going to be once they're all fully combined. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these base set books, take them, and then combine them up. And yes, if you do put more than 1 book here, it will keep cycling until it completely gets through all of the enchanted books. But yes, all of that is being done. Protection is an interesting one. Protection is going to be cheaper to have it at this level, but I do want it to be protection 5. I think it's going to be more than fine to actually make a higher level book. So we can actually use this like a normal anvil too, where we take 2 books and we just combine them together. So this is going to take 2 protections, and the result should be up. Oh, wait, no. I am completely forgetting that protection 4 is the highest protection. There we go. Never mind. Completely ignore me here. But if we did have hyper experience, this would take it all the way up to protection 5. I'm completely losing my mind. But we can still combine all of these together. Okay, so this, in my opinion, is a really good set, especially with the Ars, because this has repairing and is going to self-mend. So we don't really need mending. So we have Unbreaking, Protection 4, Mana Boost, and also Mana Regen. This is just going to be a really good base set. So we'll start by combining a couple of books here, and then we can combine these, and we should be able to get them all combined into 1 book. Because like I said, this also works like a conventional anvil. Oh, it's just so good. But it does ignore the repair cost. That is something that we should keep in mind. So I'm going to combine these 2. And look how, I mean, it's fairly cheap. Like combining these together. So much cheaper than it would be if we were to have used an anvil for this. Like, this definitely is worthwhile. Let's combine these 2. This is going to be a little bit more expensive, but still not too bad for how many enchants that's actually on this thing. That's a really nice book set right here. And the good part is, now that we have this like master copy, we can place it in here with all of its bulk enchants. And let's see, it's going to cost 616 XP to make a duplicate set of all of those enchants. Yeah, this is where I said it's really good. So now, so long as we have that master copy, we can always make another copy. And so applying this to our gear, that's actually really cheap. 247, that's under the 333, so it's under a bucket worth of XP in order to do this. Very, very nice. And that bad boy is really, really nice. And once we have all of our gear set up with mana boost and regen, this is going to be so good. And there we go, the last bit. Now, for example, I don't have any of the gear equipped. When I equip all of this gear, look how much extra mana we actually get from this. So much more mana. And our actual mana regen now, I mean, feels a whole lot quicker. Now that I've gotten some of the basics of enchanting out of the way, this is really, really nice. But it is missing one thing. An actual building. So I was thinking what I could do is go ahead and start building this thing up just a little bit, get a roof on it, and I kind of want this to have like this overhang, almost like this is some sort of kind of like a gas station, but maybe not like a gas station, but like have a gas station vibe. So man, I was not expecting these these fuel pumps to turn out so good, but yes, just a large girder, a little bit of a girder, and using some of the actual cables to make it look like it's connected up here. And then yeah, we got these step levers here, which are really, really nice. And all of this just comes together to kind of look a little bit like a gas station. I don't know, you guys can let me know down in the comments. There's probably still some more that I could do to make the outside look a little bit better, add a little bit more outside decoration. The inside's not too bad. I would like to get a ladder somewhere up here to make like access up to this area look a little bit more realistic. But outside of that, we have XP that is constantly being produced. I made myself a farm that constantly produces the experience needed, and there's still so much more that we can do with this mod, and I am super excited to dive into all of that. But to get deeper in this, we are going to need significantly more XP, and we're also going to need these blaze cakes. And this is another thing that costs a lot, because one of these cakes end up costing us a lot of experience. So a whole bucket is what makes this cake, and then the cake can be sliced down into bits and pieces, and those bits and pieces can be used to fuel this. So instead of filling this up with regular experience, it gets filled up with another one by clicking the cake on it. And that cake can be automated, but this is something that I want to work on maybe in a future episode. I think for today, this is not too bad in our little industrial area, having this like sort of gas station-esque looking thing over on the side. I thought this was very fitting for what is essentially something that does refill us. I mean, experience. Now, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and of course, if you did, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and well, give this video, guys, a huge thumbs up. And without further ado, it's time for me to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks, well, that is going to go out to Warm. I think I said that right. Thank you so much for your amazing support and choosing to support me over on the Discord, but becoming a Discord premium member and just supporting my content in one of the best ways possible. Thank you so very much. And guys, I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching.